What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to JellyGoonTV. Welcome back to YouTube. Today, to all you beautiful people, we have another reaction video and another comment request from this beautiful guy. Again, he just keeps showing up because he's amazing or she is amazing. It's really amazing, this one. But for his sake or her sake, they actually did that request on another video, but I was just too stupid to take it. But this time, he or she reads, make reaction about Cold War, please. And I like when they say please. So let's get into the Cold War. I actually don't know much about it. I just know that there weren't many fired shots. Like it was just maybe spies or something like that. Like a war like that. So yeah, let's just get into this. I hope it's not American propaganda, but let's just get into it. Let's go.
I've decided that in order to sell more merch, I should do a face reveal wearing some of it. So are you ready? Here we go. Boom. New minimalist and Cold War merch available now, and get the new limited edition Churchill character pin before it sells out, with more characters coming in the future. Link in the description down below. The year is 1917. Fighting rages on the Eastern Front of the First World War. Both Germany and Russia are on the brink of collapse. Soldier, I need you to bring me this man. Got it. Found him, sir. What? No, not Lenin. Lenin, the Russian communist. What? Why would I need a beetle? Communist. He was exiled to Switzerland. You know what? I'll do it myself.
It's crazy, man.
Who wants to start a revolution?
Okay. I guess. Start a revolution. Very simplified Cold War.
The Germans put Lenin on a train and sent him all the way back to Russia, hoping he and his mates would create an internal crisis. And create an internal crisis they did. The government was overthrown, and Lenin was in charge. He immediately pulled out of the First World War, made the country communist, started a 3-year-long civil war, got shot, broke the economy, caused a famine, and then he died. On his deathbed he said, "Hey man, tell whoever's in charge of giving people jobs not to let that jerk Stalin become the next leader. By the way, who did I put in charge of giving people jobs? That would be Stalin, sir."
Ah, fuck.
Stalin was a rising force in the Communist Party.
Yeah,
He
true.
still had some opponents, but conveniently, all of them were arrested or disappeared. So that was lucky. And so Stalin took over and implemented his 5-year plans, which transformed the country from an agriculture-based economy to an industrial one. And like Lenin before him, he reigned with terror. Anyone who dared criticize or oppose him would either be killed or left to rot in the horrendous Soviet work camps. Then a short man with a silly mustache tried to take over the world, punched the Russians all the way to Moscow, and then the Russians, with some help from their faithful ally, the Winter, punched them all the way back to Berlin.
Oh,
At this
shit.
point, being allies, America, the UK, and the Soviet Union were good chums. A couple of conferences near the end of the war to decide what would happen next. Hey Stalin, after all your trials and tribulation, you must be pretty happy to be standing here in Berlin. Tsar Alexander made it all the way to Paris.
So Alexander made it all to Paris.
I think something's up with Stalin.
Nah, it's just propaganda, man. They don't like Russians, that's
Tell
why.
him about the bomb? Yeah, tell him about the bomb. That will scare him. So, we got this crazy new big A-bomb that can destroy an entire city in one go. Yes, my spies told me already. Oh wait, I meant to act surprised. Wow, that's amazing. He already knew. How? Am I sure I want to send nuclear secrets to unsecure public life? Am I ever?
What the hell?
Dude.
Yeah, that's weird.
And
Use a VPN.
if, like me,
Man, shut up. Dude, seriously.
you need NordVPN.
It's very simple. Like, this is very simple history, but I like it. I like it. I love it.
Personal data and stopping your service providers selling your data to advertisers. With over 5,000 servers in 62 countries.
Yeah, I really don't mind that, as long as they advertise something I can use, instead of things that don't use.
With just a click of a button, you can connect to a server halfway across the world, even allowing you to access streaming services from that specific territory. Say, for example, you wanted to watch a certain OverSimplified video that for some reason has been blocked in your country. With NordVPN, you can. It works seamlessly across PC, mobile, and tablet. Go to nordvpn.com/oversimplified to get an amazing 75% off. That's just $2.99 per month, with an additional month free for a limited time. So again, that's nordvpn.com/oversimplified, also in the description box down below. Now where were we? Oh yeah. Does the A stand for atomic or ass? America dropped their big A-bomb on Japan, and World War II officially came to an end. Hooray, we won! Okay.
No, you
now it's time
didn't.
to
You
establish
didn't
a new
win.
world order. Stalin, you're in charge of Eastern Europe. Now, we want you to let
Let me just pause here. Now I see the last video I said that I think it was bad that he dropped the atomic bombs, and there were some people in the comments, which it's okay. You can write your opinion. It's okay. I'm not gonna slaughter you. It's amazing to see that you people actually interacting, and I think it's beautiful. But they say that the invasion was not better than throwing a bomb. Now I am basically going out of the moral and ethic region of life, and you know the consequences of the newer generation, because I don't feel like the newer generation is supposed to feel what the older generation did by their mistakes. There were so many civilian kills, I'm pretty sure, but an invasion would of course have been bad too, but much better because it didn't fuck up generations. You know what I mean? That's what I meant about it. And in a world where America can never be beaten, and they are never pulling out propaganda, anything. They're the biggest propaganda country in the world, like with their TV shows, with their rules, with their fatherhood, with their everything, man. America is a beautiful country and there's some beautiful citizens in it. I really do mean it, but America is just the politics and all these things, and the mindset they have is straight propaganda. Like they're the only country in the world. Like we don't like that over here in Europe. We don't dig that, but you know, that's why we have the jokes about the American tourist and everything. But hey, I'm just saying, I don't think it's good to throw a fucking atom bomb on somebody that you lost to. Because they did lose the Vietnam War. They did lose it. America did lose it. Because they couldn't fight on the terrain. They couldn't do anything, man. They lost it. And they can't man up to that. That's why. So yeah, but never mind. I respect your comment and I really do understand. It's cool, man. It's nice to see other opinions across the board, man. I really do appreciate that. I really do. So yeah, let's just get into it, man. Let's go.
elections. Oh, yes, of course. Elections. And these
Elections, yeah, you have to have elections.
Oh, yes, certainly. Free and fair. Definitely free and fair. Communist.
Yeah.
If that's not free and fair, I don't know what is. Throughout Eastern Europe, Soviet puppet governments were established as a buffer zone between the USSR and the West, with Churchill proclaiming an Iron Curtain had descended across the continent. The relationship between the old allies was deteriorating. Over the next few years, the British intervened in the Greek Civil War to prevent a communist takeover. In Turkey, the Russians began demanding more control of Turkey's sea access routes, which prompted the US to send their largest battleship to Turkey for a friendly visit. After World War II, Iran was now occupied by both the Soviets and the British, with an agreement to both pull out once the war was over. The British pulled out. Stalin was like, you know what? I think I might stick around. All in favor of kicking Russia out of Iran? You want to know something? You guys suck. Pressure from the UN forces...
Let me just pause here. I think it's funny that America could just, you know, use havoc around the world to bomb everything what they want and take everything what they want. They even taking resources from Africa. They are draining the country Africa from their resources because they signed an agreement that it was not a stable country when they signed it. So now that the resources are going to Apple and all these things, and America won't change it because of course it's in America's interest. Like America's just taking and taking and taking and taking. Also kids and lives and all these things, man. It's just amazing, especially with the new propaganda video game Modern Warfare. It's all blamed on Russia. Like Russia is always the bad goat. Like it's kind of funny American propaganda is like this, and it worked. It worked. It's brilliant. I'm not saying it's stupid. I'm saying it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's smart people that did this. And you know, us people, we are kind of, I'm sorry, but we stupid because we take everything into a consideration, you know, that America is just so great and America can never do anything wrong. And you see, Denmark politics, they kissing ass on Trump. Please don't. Trump is a fucking idiot and a psychopath, man. He's messed up in the head. He really is messed up in the head. I really mean that. But again, I understand why people, they vote on him. I understand why people, they do certain things and why they have politics like him. I do understand that. Seriously, I do understand that. But it's just, I don't like him. I think it's too much. But yeah, anyway, let's not bring politics into this. I hate that. But let's just get into it. Let's go.
Soviets to leave. And with the establishment of NATO, the Soviets had no doubt that the West was out to encircle and destroy them. And America announced the Truman Doctrine, in which they basically said, those guys are not cool, cannot be trusted, and we will do everything we can.
Like America can be trusted.
Around the world. Many viewed this moment as the official declaration of the Cold War. Back in Europe, everyone was living in a post-apocalyptic void brought on by the Second World War. Cities reduced to rubble, not enough food. It was terrible. This is great. The more they suffered, the more likely it is they'll turn to communism. Dude, you're really messed up. What's wrong with you? My father used to punish me severely. America realized what was going on and quickly made a move. Under the Marshall Plan, they sent $12 billion to Western Europe for its economic recovery. The countries of Stalin's Eastern Bloc looked on with envy. Hey, Czechoslovakia, you want to come get some economic aid? Yeah, but I have to check with my mom first. Sorry, America. I can't come. This was a full-on economic battle raging between capitalism and communism in Europe. If the Western nations developed faster and better than the East, that would be a defeat for Stalin.
Yeah, true.
So he set up his own rival,
and it's still like that,
which he called Comic-Con. And he also set up
Comic-Con.
more political control over the Eastern Bloc. But nowhere did this economic battle rage harder than in the city of Berlin. Caught over 100 miles behind Soviet lines, the city had been divided up between the Allies, and the western segments were still under Western control. East Berliners could travel freely to West Berlin, see the economic prosperity and think, maybe this communism thing ain't so great after all. I'm gonna have fun tonight.
Oh, please don't.
You're home. Oh, Stalin. I was just with my friends. You stink of capitalism. You're out engaging in imperialist debauchery again. I swear, Ivan, I can't keep doing this. Stalin wanted the West out, so he said, hey, guess what? I'm blockading all of your supply routes to West Berlin. What are you gonna do about it? I suppose we'll just fly the supplies. All right, Truman. You win this round. The Berlin airlift was an incredible undertaking and a major success for the Western Allies, and Stalin ended his blockade of West Berlin. His aggressive actions worried the West, but not as much as this did. The Soviet Union had developed their very own atomic bomb. The USA no longer had a nuclear monopoly. The world now knew that if a major war broke out between the two superpowers...
Let me just pause here. This is the problem I have with America. They are the only one who can have an atom bomb. Because we're grown up. Look, every country has their own interest, but why? Can you please explain down in the comments below, why is it that we trust America with all these atom bombs and everything? Like, they never do anything wrong. They've been at war their whole history. Like, since they've been America, they've been to war. That's crazy, man. Why do we trust these people with atom bombs? Why is this even a thing? Why is America allowed to have everything in the world? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, why? What did America do? I know they transferred money to us and pretty much helped the world, and I'm thankful for that. But why are they the only country that can have atom bomb? Because they can also do something wrong. They already did in Iraq and all these things, you know. So I don't really know, man. I don't know why America is first prize on everything. That's crazy, man. But let's just get into it. Let's go.
More destructive than anyone could imagine. So it was comforting when Stalin came out and said that war between the Soviet Union and the West was unlikely. Oh, wait, inevitable. He said it was inevitable. Hey, you know who I haven't checked in on in a while? My good friend China. Whoa, what happened to you? What happened to them was a full-blown civil war that had been going on since 1927.
Ooh.
The People's Liberation Army, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, successfully defeated the Republic of China, who fled to Taiwan. The now communist China and the Soviet Union signed a mutual defense treaty. This was terrible news for the West. But wait. There's more. After the Second World War, Korea was divided along the 38th parallel. In the north, the Soviets set up a communist regime. In the south, America set up an anti-communist regime. Both were led by very sweet-looking old men, but don't let that deceive you. They were both ruthless dictators, and both dreamed of reuniting Korea under their own regime. Now that he had the bomb, Stalin was feeling a little more cocky, and he finally gave Kim permission to attack. The North launched a surprise invasion of the South on June 25th, 1950. With Soviet aid, the North Koreans steamrolled through, taking Seoul in just 3 days and replacing one ruthless dictator with another. The UN were freaking out and quickly created an emergency force made up of troops from 16 countries to defend the South. The West still held Busan and made landings at Incheon near Seoul. They pushed the North Koreans out of Seoul, replacing the ruthless dictator that had replaced the first ruthless dictator with the same ruthless dictator that had previously been replaced by the new ruthless dictator. And the West then continued all the way up the Korean peninsula. At this point, China was getting worried that the UN may just keep going. The US had sent this guy to lead the operation. After winning the Pacific theater of World War II, General Douglas MacArthur's head was big and his balls were bigger. He reassured President Truman that there was absolutely no way at all that the Chinese would ever get involved. Meanwhile, 500,000 Chinese troops were crossing into Korea. Nuke 'em. No. Nuke 'em. No. Ah, come on. You're fired. The US considered the nuclear option, but now that the Soviets also had the bomb, they didn't want to risk all-out global destruction. The communists pushed the West right back almost to the exact same spot they had all started from, and they ended up in a stalemate, where they remained until both sides finally agreed to work towards a peace settlement in 2018. Back in America, Americans decided they wanted a new president who would be tough on communism, so they elected famed World War II General Eisenhower, who was really hard to draw. 1953. Hey Stalin, how you doing? Oh, he's dead. He had a cerebral hemorrhage and his
What?
war terror kinda came back to bite him in the ass because he had imprisoned all of his best doctors and those that were left were too terrified to treat him. The new leader, Nikita Khrushchev, called a meeting and said, "Hey guys, you know how Stalin was imprisoning and murdering us all for doing basically nothing? Yeah, he was kind of a jerk. I'm really not sure how this is news to you." Khrushchev went on a campaign of de-Stalinization. Statues of Stalin were taken down, Stalingrad was renamed, and Khrushchev announced that he wanted the Soviet people to be happy and would allow greater freedom in the Soviet Union. So how did that work out? Well, an uprising in East Germany was brutally suppressed, a revolution in Hungary was brutally suppressed, and demonstrations in Poland were brutally suppressed. Although he did finally allow some mild reforms. Back in the Soviet Union, he permitted more cultural expression, but then began banning stuff based on his own personal taste. Modern art looks like a child urinated on a canvas. Banned. Jazz music sounds like the feeling of needing to fart. Banned. Your poetry is really depressing. How could anyone in the Soviet Union be depressed? You're banned. Khrushchev wanted the Soviet people to be happy, but not like that, or that, or that. Young people began enjoying abhorrent Western pop culture. Son, remove that disgusting imperialist apparel at once. Shut up, Dad. You can't tell me what to do. Well, would you look at that? Turns out he can tell me what to do. The West had initially liked the cut of Khrushchev's jib, but world events soon soured relations even more. The two sides were spying on each other a whole lot throughout the Cold War. The KGB had spies and informants in nearly every aspect of Western life and government, so much so that whenever the US tried to send spies into the Soviet Union, the KGB were usually ready to arrest them on the spot. Members of the Manhattan Project aided the Soviet Union in acquiring the bomb. Some American officials believed they were on the wrong side. I'll sell you 3 secrets for $5 million. Okay, go ahead. The Allies are digging a tunnel under East Berlin to tap your communications. There's an American agent living at this address in Moscow, and sometimes, when I'm home alone, I like to put on my wife's dresses
What?
and sit in the corner and cry for
Shut up!
Very interesting. In America, fear took hold during the Red Scare and the McCarthy trials. American values imploded as fear of communism collided with freedom of thought and expression, and communist kind of became a buzzword thrown around to describe anything people didn't like. Hollywood,
True.
communist. Your next door neighbor's dog? Communist.
Everybody screams communist when they don't like anything, especially
You got
Americans.
10 tubs of baconaise in your
That's
hands.
fucked up.
Communist. But one area in particular where the US had an edge over the Soviet Union was in its espionage technology. In particular, U-2 spy planes flew across Russia carrying out surveillance from the skies. There was a nasty incident in 1960 though, when one was shot down and Khrushchev was furious. Who the hell is this? He's a high-altitude weather enthusiast who flew off course. Okay, that sounds plausible. Wait a minute. Why does he have a gun and a poison needle? Because he's a very naughty high-altitude weather enthusiast. But much to America's concern, the Soviet Union appeared to be ahead in the space race. Everyone freaked out when Russia launched the world's first satellite, and then they actually sent a man into space. Of course, there also appeared to be a missile gap in the Soviets' favor, and Khrushchev was so confident that he even allowed the US to set up a technology exhibit in Moscow, attended by a certain Vice President Richard Nixon. Check this out. We have color TV. Yes, but we've been to space and can obliterate you with our massive nuclear arsenal. Check out this vegetable piece. Tensions increased further.
What?
Both sides upgraded their atomic bombs to hydrogen bombs. And after West Germany was allowed to join NATO in 1955, Khrushchev set up the Defensive Warsaw Pact, strengthening the military ties between the Soviet Union and its satellite states. In 1960, Americans decided they wanted a new president who would be tough on communism.
Again.
So they elected John F. Kennedy. The Soviet Union was advancing.
He's a good president. JF Kennedy is a good
Everybody
president.
was going towards the military.
I don't give a fuck what anybody
Life under
says.
communism was still as hard as ever, and Berlin remained a thorn in the Soviet side. The contrast between the economically prosperous West and the struggling East was clearer day by day, and East Berliners were still able to freely travel to the West. Now, many of them were deciding to stay there. Millions defected to West Germany via West Berlin, causing Eastern factories to lose workers and taking
course.
a heavy toll on the economy. Soviet leaders
Let me pause here because they listen to the words of people who's coming from there, that we are rich, we have a lot of money, we get food, we get work, which is so true. Like, we are a country, for example, Germany, Denmark, America, we are a country that is not better, but we have more wealth, if you know what I mean. Like, communism is basically like starving your people, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't feel like the Russian people get what they deserve. They get so much, they deserve so much better. They really do. They deserve so much better. Like, they really do. Like, with all the factories and all the, I see the areas that the people are living in, and it's just crazy, man. It's really crazy. I seen this YouTube vlog. I don't know his name, but he visits Russia, but not in a tourist view. He visits Russia in like nuclear and like poor people and ghettos, and Romanians and all this thing that you never hear about, because and the people is basically not starving, but they just let up to themselves, you know what I mean? Because the government don't care. It's crazy, man. But let's just get into it. Let's get the last one. Let's go.
This couldn't continue any longer. First, Khrushchev tried this: leave West Berlin, or else. Or else what? Or else I'll be really mad at you. Yeah, no, we're gonna stay. Listen, man, West Berlin is ours, East Berlin is yours. That's just how it is. Kennedy felt pretty good about his show of American resolve. But wait a second, did you catch that? Let's replay it.
East Berlin is yours.
Uh-oh, Kennedy just told Khrushchev that the USA wouldn't interfere in what the Soviets did with their section of Berlin. So Khrushchev came up with a new idea. We're gonna build a wall, and it's gonna be a big, beautiful wall, and it's gonna keep out all the Mexicans. No, sir, that's wrong. It's gonna keep in these Berliners. Oh, sorry, it's gonna keep in all the Mexicans. On August 30, 1961, Berliners woke up to find their city divided into two, with barbed wire and guards blocking the border between East and West. Over time, a wall was constructed throughout the city. Families were torn apart. Thousands would risk their lives escaping over the wall, and hundreds would die trying. To the despair of Berliners, the West were unable to do anything about it. But the wall did put on full display the failure of the communist system. As Kennedy said, democracy is not perfect, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. As part of the agreement between the two sides...
Yes, you do. You do right now. That's why with Trump. That's crazy.
...started giving them the business. And Kennedy was like, nah.
Kennedy is a good guy, man. He really is.
Crossing point at Checkpoint Charlie as a show of strength. The Soviets did the same, and the two were in a standoff. They stayed like that for 16 hours, and the world braced for nuclear Armageddon. Thankfully, though, Kennedy called Khrushchev directly and was like, hey man, this is getting way too hot. How about you back your tanks up by an inch and we'll do the same? Sounds good. Okay, how about you back your tanks up by another inch and we'll follow suit? Alright, hey, you want to do another inch? And they both very slowly inched away from the apocalypse. Phew, let's hope that's the biggest crisis of my presidency. It wasn't.
No. That's crazy, man. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's pause it here, man. Wow, there's a lot of things, man. Wow. But one thing I do hate about the world and the history is that America is always coming to save everything. They have the resources and they have the military, and there's a lot of young men who died, and I'm sorry about that. I really am. I do have respect for that, but I feel like it's not really the soldiers' fault. It's not really the military soldiers' fault. It's never the soldiers' fault. It's the politics who's on the top. It's the propaganda speakers who's on the top. It's never the soldiers' fault. Never. It's not. Of course, if that soldier is willing to kill kids and have a racist view on people and, all these things, but basically they're running on moral, and that's for their country and their country love, you know what I mean? Like, they love their country and they want to fight for their country, and it's normal, it's very normal, but it's just crazy how American propaganda is everywhere where we see right now. It's just amazing. It's really amazing, but it's truly smart people, like really smart marketing, really smart everything. But Stalin, I really don't like that guy. I really don't like that guy. I understand if people, they have it better in Russia now, that they had it better in communism than they had it right now, where everything is just divided and everything is messed up. But yeah, it's an amazing video, and thank you so much for the suggestion right here. I really do appreciate you. You always come up with good videos, you really do. So yeah, this is a long video too, man. It's really long, but it was nice to watch. It was very nice. Now I learned something about history in Russia and America and Germany and all these things after the World War II. It's crazy, man, because I heard about the Berlin Wall and people, they told me about it when they've been alive. They've been at that time. They're still alive, I think. It's not that far off, but they told me it was a turning point in the world, because it basically proved that you cannot wall in all these people and everything. But what's happening now, right? Trump. But yeah, anyway, never mind that. It's not supposed to get political. If you have another opinion, it's okay. Relax. Don't get your panties in a nutch. It's okay to have another opinion than me. Just because you watch your video, you don't have to get triggered or mad. It's okay. Relax. But yeah, I really do like this video. But thank you so much again for the comment request. I really do dig it. Please comment down below what you thought was the best part, and what do you think of communism in Russia and America and all the propaganda and everything. Please comment down below. I would love to know. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below so you show me that you support the channel. Or if you really want to support the channel, please do subscribe. We are looking for 500 subscribers. We are still over our 100 subscribers. We actually at 113, and I'm so happy for that. Trust me, I just love to see it goes up. I really do. I love it so much. Thank you so much to the subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys and girls. You're amazing. You really are beautiful. But anyway, I'm gonna see you into the next video. Peace.